All right, welcome everybody. We're excited to dive into this session. We're going to be talking about all things CX. To do that, we brought on Michael Ludwig. He's currently the Director of Customer Experience over there at Fanatics. Michael, thanks so much for joining. How are you?
I'm doing well, Gabe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, when did we first I think I think I met you with Tanner like doing sodas maybe in Utah.
Yep. I think that's when we first met in real life. Yeah, sharing sodas.
The,
And yeah, life's been sweet ever since.
well said, the good old soda shop. But he was a customer with the K in a previous life, and the thing I've always appreciated with Michael is that he speaks his mind. I mean,
No,
I'm thinking.
to a detriment sometimes.
I'm thinking of the time where we rolled out that pricing stuff. And you had some good comments. You had some good comments about, but AI, we might have to get into this. I mean,
Yeah,
pricing with AI is tough, and I think you've been
it's,
at the forefront of dealing with some of this.
yeah.
So I might have to pull that out of you here in just a second. Well, before we do that, I mean, tell us just high level. You've been doing this for a long time, but tell us a little bit about Michael, what you've been doing, what you're up to now.
Yeah, so eh, I, it's crazy, my history. I've spanned many different verticals:
Yes.
automotive, technology, makeup, anti-aging beauty products at one point, cookware, and now the sports industry with Fanatics Live and Collect.
Crazy.
But the crazy part about it, and the thing that I love about my history, is like each one of these organizations that I go with or go to, I go to because they have a desire or drive to build a better customer experience for
Yeah.
their customers.
Yeah.
And if a company can wrap their heads around how important that is, I can wrap my hands around what is the product, how can I help drive a better user experience for the
I
company at
love
the end
that.
of the
I
day.
love that. And you're right. I mean, not many people can say they've kind of traversed so many different industries and verticals. And I wanted to see if I could pull out some of that knowledge today, but really neat background, Michael. Excited to kind of jump in. So let's do that. I want to start there actually. As you mentioned, a lot of different industries. I thought there was just two or three, but when you said it, I'm like, oh, that's like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
What's the common theme? I mean, you were kind of maybe indicating it. It's like, look, doesn't matter if is it really that much different in automotive than it is kind of in cooking versus sports, or like, what is the common element? Is it just the fanatical kind of customer focus, or what is the
Yeah,
difference?
I think it is. I think at the end of the day, the customer just wants to feel valued,
Yeah.
feel heard. Um, they don't have to always be correct. Many times they're not,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, as long as they feel like they've been heard, I think that's what drives a customer to come back to that brand
Yeah.
over and over again. There are plenty of customers that we weren't able to provide assistance with in any one of my industries that I've been in,
Sure.
or
Sure.
companies that I've been with. Um, but they have come back, and reports and studies that I have ran have shown that like a customer that reaches out to support on average has a LTV that's about 20% higher than someone that's never ever reached out to support. And so it just goes to show like
Interesting.
building that connection is so important with the customer.
Yeah. Sometimes those squeaky wheels are actually the ones who care the most. It's the ones who don't bring anything up that you might be
A
more
hundred
nervous
percent.
about. Is there certain things as you've traversed some of those different industries that is different? I mean, to your point, the focus is always on the customer, and that's the unifying aspect across a lot of these. Is there a couple things where you land at Fanatics and you're like, oh, this is a little different, or Hexclad where it did feel like it was same customer support but kind of a different environment or aspect?
I think coming here with Fanatics, the interesting thing that I see a lot is sometimes the squeakiest wheel is sometimes the customer that isn't spending the most on our platform, which is unusual to me. Whereas all the other industries that I've come from, all the customers at the end of the day, yeah, in automotive, you might have had a customer that have purchased multiple vehicles and some that were on their first
Oh,
vehicle.
fascinating, fascinating. Yeah.
And here at Fanatics, we have, some customers that are only interested in participating in live breaks where there's a giveaway, right? And then you have the customers that are buying really high end breaks or participating in really high end breaks that run into issues.
Oh,
So
huh.
I would say the interesting thing here at Fanatics that we see sometimes is that some of the squeakiest customers are the customers that feel wronged when they're not getting the giveaway
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
had
yeah.
anticipated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a slightly different aspect than I'm sure
yeah,
you've seen in automotive, for example. Cool. One more just big picture kind of on your career before we maybe shift into kind of CX and AI.
sure.
Um, you've been doing this a long time, and I'm curious, if you went back to yourself, whatever X years ago when you were starting this journey into customer service, customer experience, what would you tell that eager, hopeful, proud, you, as they were kind of jumping into the CX world?
It's gonna sound cheesy, but I will say
Easier the
that,
better. Easier
yeah,
the
I
better.
mean, one of the things, and you brought it up at the beginning of this conversation, is I have a knack for just calling it as I see it, and I've always done that. And like I said at the beginning, like to my detriment sometimes,
So great.
but like I would tell someone just getting started in their career is like really be true to what you're trying to deliver. Like, what
Yeah.
is that experience you're trying to deliver? Um, when I started, I first got started at Ace Hardware. That was my first job,
Hmm.
period. And our Ace Hardware store was near a Home Depot.
Yeah.
And my second real job was at Toyota on the Lexus division. And the things that both of them had in common was they both knew, well, I should say on the Ace Hardware side, we knew that we weren't the biggest,
Sure.
game
Yeah.
in town. Like there's a Home Depot right
Right
down the
there. Yeah,
street,
that's big.
but it
That's
was about that
competitive.
experience and
Mm,
like driving that experience. And the same thing with Toyota. Like I learned at Toyota on the Lexus side that, you know, 90% of what you do well in customer experience is listening. If you're listening well, you're succeeding, and then taking what you've heard and putting it to action.
yeah.
With Lexus, part of their mission statement still to this day is treat every guest like they were a guest in your own home.
Yeah.
And that's what I've taken with me everywhere I go,
I
right?
didn't
People just
realize
want
you
to,
yeah.
yeah, people just want to be treated like a human. And if you take that philosophy of treating every guest like they were a guest in your own home into what you do, like to answer your question, my North Star has always been just do the right thing. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for the business. And sometimes that means doing right for what the customer needs here and now, because you know that's going to create a more positive
Mm.
experience at the end of the day and keep that customer coming back over and over again.
That's yeah, look, that's a great one. I didn't realize you'd had, some more retail,
Oh, yeah.
in-person customer experience. I actually I did a big consulting project and spent a ton of time at Lexus doing customer experience stuff and journey
Hmm.
mapping, and, um, that must have really changed your trajectory. I remember we were talking about one thing with the group about the smell in the shop. I'm like, I mean, those guys, to your point, like treat it like it's your own home. Like those guys taught me stuff. I mean, look, it's obviously different in the digital world, selling even a physical product, probably like cooking. But man, just when you're in person with somebody, Ace Hardware, Lexus, I think that just establishes you see their face. You're not just on the
Yep.
phone. The home aspect, like you're entering into my living room. That I can see how that would really, that's so cool you started there because that really I can see changes that. Cool. Well, I wanted to flip to some of the trends going on in the space.
Sure.
Obviously AI is now getting like, we got to hear about this again, but it is here. It's in our face. I'm just curious, having seen some of the ups and downs of telephony, automation. There's always something new, shiny object that's going to save service and make everything better and blah blah blah. What's going on with this AI stuff, man? Like what's your take? Big picture, give it to me.
I think a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, when AI first started rolling out into customer service, everyone thought AI was going to be that thing that, helped reduce the need for agents.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies that went all in on AI is trying to realize, no, you still need that human element that
Wasn't that
AI
so funny?
unfortunately can't provide
Some of
right
those
now.
that like got rid of them, then they hired them back. Or
Yep.
something. You're like,
Yep.
oh, geez.
Um, but I really see AI as that force that works alongside of your agent to give them the
Mm,
superpowers,
yeah.
right? There are some things that AI, like the transactional stuff,
Yeah.
like Wismo stuff, that can be done with AI really easily. But the moment that you start, including more complex things, is the moment that AI should recognize, hey, this is a little bit more complex than standard responses. I need to work alongside my human agent. I think that's where it's at, and I think that's where most companies are going to see success. That's the way that I'm starting to, pull in AI
Move down
into
that path.
our
Yeah.
business at Fanatics. Is like, how can it work alongside my agents to make them more productive, or even our agents more human?
Yeah.
And what are different ways that we can, make this customer feel um, like our agent knows everything,
That's
when in
cool. Yeah, I
actuality,
like that.
it's AI knowing a lot of things, and the agent just ensuring that information is correct.
I don't know if I've had a lot of people position it like that. I like that. I mean, to your point, I think a lot of people thought you could eliminate everybody and everything. You're right. You can eliminate some of the stuff, the transactional stuff. I think we're seeing more people win with, and
Sure.
there's something there. That idea of making your customer experience even more personalized, even more powerful because you turn these guys into super agents. That's a cool framing.
I think also, uh, I think with AI as well right now, I think there's a lot of trust that needs to be
Hmm,
gained with our customers
yeah.
before even customers feel okay with the response that AI is providing.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
10 years ago when chatbots came out and everyone thought chatbots was going to be the game changer,
Yep.
I think a lot of trust was lost with customers at that
Yeah, I
point.
love that. I
And
love
so
that.
they attribute AI responses in a chat form as, oh, here we go again. Like, I'm going to have to explain a lot of things and get nowhere with it. And then it's going to be handed off to an agent. And so I think there is a lot of trust
Yeah.
building that still needs to take place.
Yeah, look, the chatbot, I think you're right. In a lot of ways, maybe it did more damage than good. It was really frustrating. I mean, maybe for the very simplest, but those button bots in particular, where you were kind of like boom,
Force
boom,
down.
boom.
Yep.
You're trying to like get this flow, and you never ended, and it ended up in a rage quit kind of moment. How do you feel like people are through your own experiences or through some of your friends, other brands? How are customers generally like accepting or starting to interact with AI? You feel like, I mean, your point is it's pretty bad. There's a lot of trust to be built. You think there, some cases it's starting to work. Any kind of stories or instances or just feedback are they doing okay interacting with AI or not really still?
I think it's a hit or a miss. And
Yeah.
when it's a hit, it's a hit. And when it's a miss, it's a miss, And so, like, you run the risk. Like, when I first introduced AI at HexClad,
Yeah.
we there were certain scenarios in which we knew that AI would do extremely well in.
Yeah.
Um, but in the more complex ones, we would typically have it hand off to an
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah.
And so, like, for those ones that we knew it would do really well with, we took the approach of not telling a customer that they were talking to AI. We just wanted them to feel like they were talking to a human.
Okay.
And we saw some positive results. We saw, like, positive reviews coming up for these AI agents actually on Trustpilot on our site saying like, hey, got great service from so and so, and it was the AI agent.
Sure. Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but then you see, you see some situations or some scenarios in which AI wants to have the last word and doesn't want to hand off to an agent, or wants to continue the conversation with the customer, and it gets them even more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's either a hit or a miss.
Yeah. No, I love it. Look, I think it still feels like we're pretty early. I mean, I
Yeah.
know, I mean, if you think to your point, chatbots, I mean, we're only a year plus. You're coming up maybe on 2, I think, for real AI. I think there's still a long runway there. You've mentioned a couple examples, but I'd love if you could double click. Like, where do you feel there's some obvious places that you've probably experienced it, you've probably implemented it, like you said, the Wizmo thing, for example. Are there other areas that one that's really jumping is like it's more supporting the reps, like I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I could deflect some stuff in the chat bot 2.0 with AI, but is there certain is it like ticket summaries, for example, where you maybe people call in and they got a prep and we get maybe more of a summary? Is there certain things you've heard or seen on that side of the house that you're like, Gabe, I think there's a there, like we're going to start to see some of this really turn these guys into superheroes because AI can give them so much information when they used to tab, search. Anything come to mind on that front?
I think AI summaries is a great start. But then like a co-pilot,
Yeah.
where it sits alongside saying like, here's the recommended article, or here's the recommended response I would
Yeah.
provide to this customer, and here's the reasoning behind it. I
Mm,
think supercharges your agent, and actually teaches them along the way.
mm,
So like that agent now understands the reasoning that uh, why that AI made that recommendation,
mm.
i- is super powerful,
Yeah.
right? You could, if the
Sure.
agent takes the time to understand the reasoning, they'll be like, oh, I didn't think about that. Or, hey, this AI response got it wrong because it didn't think about
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
provide that AI uh, recommended response feedback is crucial,
Mm,
but it also will pick up on things that the agent may not have had the time to pick up on,
yeah,
right? So,
for sure.
like if someone's trying to abuse promo codes, right? And the copilot says, hey, my recommended response is X, Y, and Z, and not provide an additional code because this customer has a track record of abusing promo codes or always making an order with that.
Right, right.
Um, or just the opposite. Hey, a year ago, this customer told us they were waiting for a shipment for a birthday gift for their significant other.
Hmm.
It could remind the agent, hey, this customer placed another order a year ago around the same time as a birthday for their significant other.
Oh,
You might
cool,
want to
cool.
say, like, hey, uh, we remembered when you reached out to us last year about this. Is this for so and so again? Is
Yeah,
this another gift for so and so?
yeah, those are cool. Those are really cool
Making those
examples.
personalized touches.
Yeah.
I think also another area that doesn't get a lot of love and I think has the most value to a business is pre-purchase. Um,
Mm,
and not in the form of a chat. I
okay.
absolutely hate pre-purchase chat pop-ups, but um, where you have even on a PDP a little space where someone can type in questions about a product that they're looking at
Hmm.
and AI provide a response. The customer realizes that they're talking to AI so that there's no
Yeah,
assumption that they'll be handed off to an agent, right?
yeah,
Setting the
interesting.
expectations up front. I've seen a few furniture companies do this really well,
Mm,
where you can say, "Oh, I'm looking at this lamp. The PDP's for a lamp," and you can say, "Hey, is there a great chandelier that would go well with this?" Or what is the specifications of this? And get a lot of that information up front.
hmm,
I think uh,
mm.
will make that shopping experience better. And
And
then
that
also for like shoes or clothing,
uh-huh.
like, if you think about a Nordstrom's model, right? When you go in and buy a pair of shoes, you say, hey, I want to try these on in a size 10. They'll
Yeah,
bring a size 9.5 and a 10.5 and that 10 out with you, right? So
yeah,
they don't have to go back to the stock room and try it. A lot of people do the same shopping online. Because these stores will offer free returns, they'll order a
You roll.
9.5, a
Yeah.
10, and a
Okay.
10.5,
Hmm.
and then return it. And so there's a lot of return shipping costs that a
Yeah.
company has to endure. And so if AI would at checkout would say, "Hey, I noticed you have three of the same shoes but different sizes in. Care to answer three questions and maybe I can provide you a better recommendation." Or
Uh,
looking at the reviews of these shoes, it looks like they run large. So maybe stick with the larger size that you were thinking about going
hmm.
with.
Hmm. What is that called? Is that a shopper assistant? Is that a pre-purchase? What do you
Yeah,
refer to that as? It's like a
I've seen it. It's AI for uh, PDPs. I don't know what the
AI for PDP.
specific
Huh.
term is,
Yeah,
but I've
cool.
seen a few companies do it.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Um,
too much of that, but you're right.
yeah,
That's brilliant. Pre-purchase, to your point, I think so many people look at the post-purchase, but
yep,
pre and now it's your not a chat bot, but something that's actually maybe designed. I still the bottom right hand thing. I've like completely
yeah,
when I go to a website and I see bottom right hand, I automatically like it's just gone, in my head.
yep,
So it's got to be something different. I don't know, float,
exactly.
push, design, bar. I don't care. Ooh, I love that example. Let me maybe let me just end with this. So a lot of people are trying to kind of start this journey and implement some of these things, and you're talking to friends, you're seeing it yourself. What advice would you have for kind of getting going on, the AI journey? Start small, find this, thoughts for people who are on that part of their progression.
I would say start. This is going to sound horrible. Start with low expectations and allow AI to pleasantly surprise you. Um, and so it does sound horrible,
No, it's true
but
because man, a lot of people have some failed implementations and stuff, and so it's like, you know what? Start thinking it's not going to be some magic bullet. That's actually good.
yeah, it's true. And then also like think about what are the experiences in which you would want AI to assist, um, or handle completely. What are the experiences that require or should require delicate hand holding, and how can AI assist your reps,
Yeah,
right? And then bucketize them that way. Start with like, okay, what are the easy wins that we can get? And then what are the things in which I wish I had a knowledgeable assistant that could help my
mm,
agents out 24/7.
that's cool. That's a
I
fun way to think
think
about it.
biting off too much than you can chew with, like, what are these like conversations that can be fully deflected is the wrong approach to take.
Yeah, yeah. Start with low expectation. Oh man, you ended just where you started. Real Michael. Real
That's right.
Michael. Don't that was awesome. Cool, man. Well, fun talk track. Want to let you get back to your day job. If someone wants to learn a little more about Fanatics or actually even continue this dialogue, what would be the best way to do that?
Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm one of those types of people that
He's
I
pretty active
invite
on it.
anyone to connect with, because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, if we can all build a better space for creating better customer experiences, let's do it,
yeah,
right? Because we all win at the end of the day. If you work for a brand that I'm going to purchase from, and you're building better experiences for your end customers, then I win out of that, right? And
yeah.
so, like, if we can just build better experiences overall, like, I'd love to connect.
I love it. I love it, man. All right. He is pretty active on LinkedIn, as we said. He'll share his opinion when it's appropriate. But Michael, again, appreciate it for the audience. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks all.